this actually has an inscription. Oops. This is, I can't read the first name. Something Jones. It's got a little drawing in it. It says December 28th, 1897. So this is it. I got this at a thrift store for $5. I think it might actually be cheaper than that. But this is a very, very old book. I love old books and old poetry. But let's begin. Prelude to Voices of the Night by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Pleasant it was when woods were green and winds were soft and low, to lie amid some sylvan scene, where the long drooping boughs between shadows dark and sunlight sheen alternate come and go, or where the denser grove receives no sunlight from above, where the dark foliage interweaves in one unbroken roof of leaves, underneath whose slooping leaves the shadows hardly move. Beneath some patriarchal tree I lie upon the ground, his hoary arms uplifted he, and all the broad leaves over me clapped their little hands in glee with one continuous sound. A slumberous sound, a sound that brings the feelings of a dream, as of innumerable wings, as when a ball no longer swings, faint the hollow murmur rings, o'er the meadow, the lake, the stream. And dreams of that which cannot die, bright visions came to me, as lapped in thought I used to lie and gaze into the summer sky, where the sailing clouds went by like ships upon the sea. Dreams that the soul of youth engage, ere fancy has been quelled, old legends of the monkish page, traditions of the saint and sage, tales that have the rhyme of age, and chronicles of eld. And loving still these quaint old themes, even in the city's throng, I feel the freshness of the streams that, crossed by shades and sunny gleams, water the green land of dreams, the holy land of song. Therefore at Pentecost, which brings the spring, clothed like a bride, when nestling buds unfold their wings, and the bishops' caps have golden rings, musings upon many things, I sought the woodlands wide. The green trees whispered low and mild. It was the sound of joy. They were my playmates when I was a child, and rocked me in their arms so wild. Still they looked at me and smiled as if I were a boy, and ever whispered mild and low, "Come, be a child once more," and waved their long arms to and fro, and beckoned solemnly and slow. Oh, I could not choose but go into the woodlands o'er, into the blithe and breathing air, into the solemn woods, solemn and silent everywhere. Nature with folded hands seemed there, kneeling at her evening prayer. Like one prayer I stood. Before me rose an avenue of tall, sombrous pines. Abroad their fan-like branches grew, and where the sunshine darted through, spread a vapor soft and blue, in long and sloping lines. And falling on my weary brain, like a fast-falling shower, the dreams of youth came back again, low lispings of the summer's rain, dropping on the ripened grain, as once upon the flower. Visions of childhood. Stay, oh stay, you were so sweet and wild, and distant voices seemed to say, "It cannot be, they pass away." Other themes demand thy lay. Thou art no more a child. The land of song within thee lies, watered by living springs. The lids of fancy's sleepless eyes are gates unto that paradise. Holy thoughts like stars arise. Its clouds are angels' wings. Learn that henceforth thy song shall be not mountains capped with snow, nor forests sounding like the sea, nor rivers flowing ceaselessly where woodlands bend to see the bending heavens below. Where there is a forest where the din of iron branches sounds, A mighty river roars between, and whoever looks therein sees the heavens all black with sin, sees not its depths nor bounds. Athwart the swinging branches cast, soft rays of sunshines pour. Then comes the fearful wintry blast. Our hopes, like withered leaves, fall fast. Pallid lips say, "It is past. We can return no more." Look, then, into thine heart and right. Yes, into life's deep stream, all forms of sorrow and delight, all solemn voices of the night that can soothe thee or affright. Be these henceforth thy theme. And that ends the first poem, which is the prelude of Voices of the Night. This is Hymn to the Night. I heard the trailing garments of the night sweeping through her marble halls. I saw her sable skirt all fringed with light from the celestial walls. I felt her presence by the spell of might stoop o'er me from above, the calm, majestic presence of the night, as of the one I love. Heard the sounds of sorrow and delight, the manifold soft chimes that fill the haunted chambers of the night, like some old poet's rhymes. From the cool cistern of the midnight air, my spirit drank repose. The fountains of perpetual peace flows there, from those deep cistern flows. O holy night, from thee I learned to bear what man has borne there before. Thou layest thy finger on the lips of care, and they complain no more. Peace, peace, Orestes like I breathe this prayer. Descend with broadened winged flight, the welcome, the thrice prayed for, the most fair, the best beloved night. This is a psalm of life, still in the Voices of the Night by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Tell me not, in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream, for the soul is dead that slumbers, and all things are not what they seem. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not the goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destiny end or way, but to act that each tomorrow find us farther than today. Art is long and time is fleeting, and our hearts, though stout and brave, still like muffled dreams are beating funeral marches to the grave. In the world's broad field of battle, in the bivouac of life, be not like dumb driven cattle, be a hero in the strife. Trust no future, however pleasant, let the dead past bury its dead. Act in the living present, heart within, and God overhead. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Footprints that perhaps another, sailing over life's solemn main, or forlorn shipwrecked brother, seeing, shall take heart again. Let us then be up and doing, with a heart for any fate, still achieving and still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait. And this is the Reaper's Flowers, the Reaper and the Flowers. There is a reaper whose name is Death, and with his sickle keen he reaps the bearded grain at a breath, and the flowers that grow between. Shall have naught that is fair, saith he, have naught but the bearded grain. Though the breath of these flowers is sweet to me, I will give it back all again. He gazed at the flowers with tearful eyes, he kissed their drooping leaves, for it was the Lord of Paradise, he bound them in his sleeves. My Lord has need of some of these flowerets gay, the reaper said and smiled. Tokens of the earth are they, where he was once a child. They shall all bloom in the fields of light, transplanted by my care, and saints upon their garments white these sacred blossoms wear. And the mother gave, in tears and pain, the flowers she did love. She knew she should find them all again in the fields of light above. Oh, not in cruelty, not in wrath, the Rooper came that day. 'Twas an angel visited the green earth and took the flowers away. And this one is The Light of Stars. I'm going to do this one and one more, and then I'm going to be done for today because I got stuff to do. But I felt like this was something I should do. I don't know. I go off my spirit a lot, I guess you could say. The Light of Stars. The night is come, but not too soon, and sinking silently, all silently, the little moon drops below the sky. There is no light in earth or heaven but the cold light of stars, and the first watch of night is given to the red planet Mars. Is it the tender love? Wait, is it the tender star of love? The star of love and dreams? Oh no, from that blue tent above a hero's armor gleams. And earnest thoughts within me rise when I behold afar, suspended in the evening skies, the shield of that red star. O star of strength, I see thee stand and smile upon my pain. Thou beckonest thy mailed hand, and I'm strong again. The star of the unconquered will, he rises in my breast, serene and resolute, and still and calm and self-possessed. And thou too, whosoever thou art, that readest this brief psalm, as one by one thy hopes depart, be resolute and calm. Oh, fear not in a world like this, and thou shalt know ere long, know how sublime a thing it is to suffer and be strong. Damn, such a good one. Yeah, what's up, dude? Oh, yeah, she's behind me. Hello. Hey, Shadow, I love you. What's up, Jonathan? Footsteps of Angels. When the hours of day are numbered and the voices of the night wake the bettered soul that slumbered to a holy, calm delight, ere the evening lamps are lighted and like phantoms grim and tall, shadows from the fitful firelight dance upon the parlor wall. Then the forms of the departed enter at the open door. The beloved, the true-hearted, come visit me once more. He, the young and strong, who cherished nobles' longings for strife, by the roadside fell and perished, weary with the march of life. They, the holy ones and weakly, who crossed the suffering, who the cross of suffering bore, folded their pale hands so meekly, and spake with us on earth no more. And with them the beings beauteous, who unto my youth was given, more than all the things else to love me, and now a saint in heaven. With a slow and noiseless footstep comes that messenger divine. Take the vacant chair beside me, lays her gentle hand in mine, and sits and gazes at me with those deep and tender eyes, like the stars so still and saint-like, looking downward from the sky. Utter not, yet comprehensible, is the Spirit's voiceless prayer, soft rebukes in blessings ended, breathing from her lips of air. Oh, though oft depressed and lonely, all my fears are laid aside, but if I remember only such as these have lived and died. Yeah, I really like. This is some good stuff, dude. I found this book at a thrift store around here, and let me see if I can maybe I can get this in the proper light. Yeah, you can see an inscription in here. Ms. something something. I'm really bad at reading cursive. I have no idea what that says right there. It's just really hard to see. But it says December 28th, 1897. It's got a little drawing in it, and I think that's hilarious. It's so amazing to see the relics of the past and how we've been the same this entire time, no matter how old our stuff is. But yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful little book. I'm trying to be very gentle with it because it's 130 plus years old. But that's why it's good to check out thrift stores and look at their book section, because people don't know the gold they have. We'll throw away stuff like this and then pick up a DVD, which is sad. But yeah, trying to get more into actually reading more poetry lately, doing more stuff. I'm probably gonna do a lot more readings like this, because like before I was doing like philosophical books, and yes, that's fine, that's great, but for all of my philosophical learnings and meanderings and musings, it made me no happier than reading 3 lines of poetry. Because you can spend your entire life trying to figure out what's the purpose or what's the meaning when it's right there in front of you. You know, it's about making art and expressing yourself in the few times in the little bit of time that you get. Because we're never gonna figure out what's happening in life. We're never going to fix the world, but we can make it bearable by sharing art with each other, reading poetry, creating art, music, dancing together. That's the most important stuff. I already didn't like TV and all that stuff to begin with, and lately I've just been pushed further and further into hating media, hating mainstream media. Not because it's mainstream, but because it's disconnecting me from people. It's disconnecting me from my friends. Where do we dance? Where do we talk? What do we read now? We have no depth. All we have is this shallow depth of a screen. So like, how can I bring meaning into my life when all I do is feed myself light that's just fucking, there's nothing there. It's just pixels with shitty plot lines, trippy graphics, and no food for the soul. So, I don't know. I've been trying to get away from this bullshit lately. But the reason I'm on YouTube so much is because I feel like I need to encourage other people into this too. And I feel like a lot of other people are also doing the same. A lot of us feel like Jonathan, yeah. You know, that's why we're here, man. We're here to be the light in the darkness. Show people that there's more out there than what they show on TV. There's more out there than what they put in magazines. There's more out there than what they will push to you on Spotify. There is beauty and there is love in life, but they're not going to show it to us because fear, hate, anger, these are very strong emotions that can be easily triggered by just words and images, and it keeps people watching, keeps people looking, so that way they can try to sell us something. Well, I'm not trying to sell anything anymore. I don't give a shit about any of that. So I'm going to try to be the antithesis to the artificial. I hate AI, so I'm going to bring back natural intelligence. The ability to think, the ability to talk, the ability to communicate with my friends on here, the ability to be real, because that is being lost now, and it's going to have to be taught. We have kind of destroyed our authenticity through supposed social media. It's no longer social. It's social engineering media. Yeah, the same, dude. I used to have this whole thing, like, you know, I was trying to... Dude, what the heck? My cat just batted me because I'm not playing with her.
Um, but yeah, I used to, because that's what I thought we were supposed to do as artists. Because like, I, I came into this late in the game. You know, I had a very formative experience, you could say, and after that, I started painting because I was trying to represent what I experienced. And my wife was like, at the time, she was just my girlfriend, and she's like, you know what, you should take this to a gallery. And I was like, okay. So I called a bunch of them up. A lot of them tried charging me $50 a month, and I'm like, I don't. I'm poor. I don't have money to pay someone to put my art up. But I found this one really cool collective called Mad Collabs, and really awesome people. And they let me hang my art for free for a bit, until the place got shut down, because the landlord kicked us out because he was homophobic. But anyways, that's a whole different story. Um, but I used to, because when I was there, I had my art up, and people were like, "You need to get into branding. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to put all your stuff on social media. You need to constantly make content." So I thought, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing." So I started doing that, and then I realized I hate this. It's destroying my love for art. It destroyed my respect for myself because I started seeing myself become one of those fucking shills that I see everywhere. And I hate that stuff. I hate it with a passion. That's why if you look through my old stuff, you'll see there's a huge difference between my old stuff and what I do now. Yeah, it feels like another day in business. I'm not a business person. I don't want to do business. I'm an artist. I don't even try to really claim myself as an artist. I just happen to make art, and then other people call me an artist. But if you look through all that stuff, I don't want to be branded. I want to be a maverick. I don't want to have a brand. I don't want to, heat up some iron and stick a symbol on myself and be like, this is what I am. I can be bought and sold now. No. I'm a human. You can't buy me. You can, if you want some of my stuff, I'll give it to you for fucking free at this point. Yeah. Yeah, friendships become a brand. Yeah, because Jonathan's saying, I got a gig and got paid, honestly. Ever since then, I just do what I do. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Our stuff it's because of influencers, which are really, the original term for an influencer, you know what it was about 70 years ago? Propagandist. That's what an influencer is. It's someone that has a message that they want to stick in your mind so that way you will. Because actually, if you read Edward Bernays' book, Propaganda, it's not about like government propaganda. Yes, it can be used for that. It's about advertising. He was one of the big influential voices in advertising, and how it's weirdly about psychological triggers and how stuff can, how stuff is like can be coordinated to help industries. But regardless, we have been influenced by these influencers into thinking that we have to you have to create an Etsy store, you have to sell garbage stuff made in a factory, you have to be this thing, you have to be making money, or you're not successful. You're not a real artist unless you sell something. You're not a professional. What? What? Tell that to fucking Vermeer. Tell that to Van Gogh. Tell that to Rembrandt. Rembrandt was successful, but towards the end, not really. But it's we've been poisoned by non-creatives, by businessmen who have always tried to take someone who's being creative and create things and saying things that people actually want to listen to. They always try to take that, latch onto it, and to put their own little message because they want money. They're greedy people that want to use genuine human joy to further their greed. Yeah, the contract, make money. Yep. They want to. But anyways, I've kind of gone way off subject of reading Wadsworth or Longfellow earlier today, but still, this is, I don't know, something we got to do more of. We need We need more grass seeds to be planted. We need to water each other so that way we can have a grassroots movement, anti artificial, anti authoritarian, anti greed movement. A movement of community, a movement of true grassroots. Because what are grassroots? Grassroots are go deep and they interconnect. All these little individual plants make up a giant mat of a root system, connecting and helping each other grow, to feeding each other, keeping the soil together, keeping our country united. Because we are blades of grass. We are individuals. We just do a little bit of work. But because of how many we are, we cover fields. We can create beautiful landscapes just being a blade of grass, being connected just to a few people around us. We influence so much. And we need to do that in a more positive way. And what ways are there of doing that? Encouraging each other. Speaking to each other in love and understanding. And when someone does something that's so fucking stupid, we have to do our best to be empathetic and put ourselves in their shoes and try to understand why they did that. But also being honest with each other. We need to, if we see someone driving off the cliff, we need to be like, hey man, I've been down this road. I know where this ends. I'm not gonna pull the wheel for you, but I'm gonna let you know this is where it is on the map. If you go this way, we will no longer be able to be friends. Because a lot of people are more scared of losing connections than they are of changing their mind. We need a lot more people that are willing to, in love, be like, I think you're wrong, but I'm still going to be friends with you. I'm still going to encourage you into goodness. That's why I like to encourage sobriety. Even though I'm someone that's definitely not a saint, I encourage people into the good things. Encourage people into exercise. I don't really exercise that much, but I still encourage people into exercise. Encourage people into reading. Encourage people into studying. Encourage learning and loving of learning. And the love of connection. Because we've lost that. Our TVs have killed our ability to connect with each other, because now, instead of sitting and facing each other and speaking, we look away. We talk at the screen. We get emotional because of things we see that aren't real. We start reacting in a way that someone created for us to react. Not from genuine, actual something happening between two humans, but between a machine made to steal our attention and someone who's genuinely hurting. We've lost it because of these screens. I think we can gain it again through these screens, but it's going to be a different type of usage. I think more like this, like as L Frog says, fellowship. We'll find ways of fellowshipping with people across these things, because community is no longer a location. It's a spirit. It's a connection with the other spirits like you. And that's what we need more of. If there's this term called an egregore, which is essentially, I'll just say, when people pray to an idea, or a bunch of people have an idea, it takes on a life of its own. It has its own spirit. Like you could say the spirit of jazz. When a bunch of jazz musicians get together and they start playing and improvising, the spirit of jazz presents itself. And I think in this time of censorship and hate, we need uncensored love. Because you can't defeat your enemy being like your enemy. You can't overcome the obstacle when you become the obstacle. So all these people that say that they're on the same side and are constantly backbiting and bickering and fighting over who does what, and who this person said this and this person did that. It's it's petty and it does nothing. It helps no one. It resolves nothing. We have moved beyond resolution now. No one cares about resolving anything. All they care about is shouting at each other their point of view. Oh, that's just my truth. That's just my point of view. I think abortion is wrong. I think abortion is right. We just yell at each other, constantly talking over each other. We hear nothing because we're shouting so loud at each other, we can only hear our own voice now. And I'm not saying that what other people have to say is always worth listening to. There's a lot of heinous things that are not worth listening to. What I'm saying is, when you listen to what they're saying, you'll hear why they're saying it. Because a lot of these things come from emotional states. They come from states of fear, states of anger, states of revenge. But all these come down to one thing: insecurity within ourselves. Insecure about our place, our power, our ability to survive. That's where the emotions come from. Anyways, I don't think that I'm going to ever solve the world. I don't think anyone ever is. But I like what Longfellow said. Sometimes we can leave footprints in the sand of time, so that way other people seeing that can also be encouraged and take heart and keep walking. Because that's what it's about. Yeah. Introspection with honesty. That's what confidence is, to confide within. When you confide within yourself and you're honest and you speak truth to yourself, you gain confidence because you know what you can and you cannot do. Confidence is honesty with yourself. To have trust in other people is to have confidence with them. Yeah, I like that. I like what Darren said. We are all artists. Are you willing to go on the journey to find it, or are you going to get caught up in another's by following 100%? And something I like to think about a lot, especially when I'm driving, is like, when you get stuck in traffic and you're driving behind someone's going super slow, you can only go the speed of the person that you're following. But when you break free and you can get on a different lane, you can go. I mean, there's speed limits, obviously. In real life, you don't want to get pulled over and given a ticket, but you can go at the speed that you want when you have no one that you're following. And I think that's something a lot of people don't think about. You can go very fast when you are not following one, but you don't know where you're going. So it depends. Do you want to know where you're going, or do you want to go fast? Here's what Jonathan said. I've actually had a moment where I had a realization: the fact that there's building and there's so many tools and people here can be very isolating but freeing. Yes. Yeah. I totally understand. Yeah, it's a weird dualism. Anyways, I feel like I've kind of ranted for long enough. I need to get ready for work and everything. Thank you all for coming and hanging out. Originally, this was started off as poetry reading, and then I started ranting, which is kind of what happens. But peace out, y'all. Have a great day.